This video will give you a quick overview of the Ion-Science Cub PC software. So the icon looks like this. When it first opens up, you'll see that the unit's docked here. So you could have multiple docks connected. I've got the serial number. I actually can put a name onto into the unit. So this one's labeled Levitt Safety. I can calibrate. If I click this, it'll zero and span the unit. I can bump test it. I can download the data into an Excel format like CSV file. It also shows me the battery, and I could also update the firmware at this time. If I just go across the top here, this brings us to this screen. If I go into the I here for information, I could contact tech support. One of the useful things is actually upgrading the firmware or the software here to install it. And also it would tell me if there's any other upgrades available. I'll go back to this first one here. Let's go into the settings on the unit. So actually this button clears the data out of the unit. This gets into the settings, and this is looking at the data from this instrument. So let's go into the settings. So here I can name the instrument. It shows me the serial number as well. I can choose the units, so parts per million. This, if I click it, as soon as it comes out of the dock, the unit turns on and starts recording. This is your clock settings. You can either set your time and date here, or you can just tell it to use the computer time if you click that. Data logging is set here, so many minutes or seconds. The calibration gas, you probably will be using isobutylene, but you could use something else. Usually it's 100 ppm isobutylene. In some situations it's 10 ppm isobutylene, but that's correct, the gas I have hooked up to the dock right now. TWA and STEL, it's kind of linked to this here. So under PID, if I choose, say I choose one of these other ones here, the isoprene, isopropanol. So you can see here that under isopropanol, there's a TWA alarm value under OSHA, and it's now set, if we were just measuring isopropanol only, like that one chemical was in the room. So I'll put this back to isobutylene. It's traditionally used for total VOC measurement. The sounds I can have, each time you push the button on the unit, it makes a sound. This is also setting making it the alarm, like turning the alarm on. You can set the volume. Alarm latch would be if it goes above, well, actually here, I'll show you the low and high alarm. If it went above either one of these set points, if it's not latched, if it goes above, it goes into alarm. If it goes back below those values, then it goes out of alarm. If you hit the alarm latch, it can go up above the alarm and then go below, but you actually have to push the button on the Cub itself to clear the alarm, even if it goes below. So there's also vibrate. This could, if it goes into alarm, if you click it here, it doesn't vibrate. If you click it here, it does vibrate. Total VOC, Cub uses a 10.6 lamp. The TAC mode, Cub uses the 10.0 lamp. The low and high alarm. So any changes I make here, and actually I should say here, this is the last, these are actually the screens that show up on the Cub. So this is a real-time PPM display. You also have your STEL, so your calculated 15-minute average STEL value, your 8-hour TWA about calculated value, clock, the low alarm, like alarm 1, alarm 2, the temperature, and this allows you to manually calibrate when the unit's not on the dock. So if I didn't want someone to be able to manually calibrate, I could take that check mark away, and that feature would go away on the unit. Any of those things can be turned on or off. At this point, it's whatever changes I've made here have not been sent to the unit, so I want to send them to the unit. It'll ask me if I want to do that. Yeah, so we can see it's erasing and it's reprogramming the dock, or the Cub that's on the dock right now. So if I've taken this one out and I've used it, actually, let me go to this screen here too. If I go to here, there's things you can have it do, actions on docking. You may want to read more about this in the manual, but for example, if as soon as it docks, if you want it to take the data and convert it to a CSV file, or download the data and then erase the unit, if you want it to automatically set the time. So there's other things you can have it automatically calibrate, do different things like that. Now, if I go to the data, let's see one of these recordings here, actually this one here. So I can see this one. Okay, this one has a maximum of 41, so it might be good to look at. So if I click this, it's going to give me a graph, and I can go along here at the side, and I've got my table, I've got the graph. I can also hit menu. I can print that. I can convert to CSV or to a JPEG to put it in a report or something like that. If I want to zoom a particular area, maybe I'm interested in this peak, I can do this and zoom in and now see that better. So that's a very quick overview. I'd recommend looking at the manual, and I'll also do a short video on the Cub itself and the different screens.